Hey everybody, John Duncan here. This is number 2 for the CV Live series. And just want to talk about some more things related to the crisis that we're in and how it impacts the economic impact and what we can do to protect ourselves and look for opportunities as they come up. The first thing I want to talk about today is a lot of people are concerned about commercial real estate and what's going to happen with that now that a lot of people are working from home. And I heard an interesting conversation and a couple tidbits I wanted to share is tomorrow, April 1st, $80 billion roughly of rents are going to come due. And also, tomorrow, $90 billion of credit payments will be due. And that's for mortgages, credit cards, cars, just credit payments, if you will. So between the two, that's $170 billion of payments that are due tomorrow. And the real question is how, what percentage of them will be paid? And there's a feeling that a pretty good percentage will not be paid. What's interesting about that is it really sharpens in what I talk about a lot, which is we are in a debt-based society. And when people hear that, they don't know exactly a lot of times what I'm talking about. And basically, since 1971, we went off the gold standard, and governments and large corporations and people in the know knew that we were basically on fiat, what they call fiat currency. And, as the government and the banks wanted to get it in, get as much money into circulation as possible. And it's created a debt-based economy. And around the world right now, I just saw a stat the other day, worldwide debt is like $253 trillion. So a lot of debt. Now, why am I saying this? Well, if we were to turn back the clocks and this was like the 1950s or 60s, would the government be stepping in to do, $2 trillion plus stimulus packages? And would they even be needed? We don't know, but we do know back then, it was more of a saver culture. And there wasn't just a mountain of debt that needed to be serviced each and every month. And unfortunately, that's what we're in now. The government has decided to do a stimulus plan. And if you'll notice, the $1,200 payments to people making under $75,000 a year, that's not going to change really anything for most people. It's not going to make sure bills are paid. It's just more like a handout, where the real rubber hits the road, if you will, is if you look at the rest of that package and then all the handouts that went to all kinds of things that had nothing to do with what's going on. And that ties into the second thing I wanted to talk about, which is today, President Trump even started talking about phase 4 of the government coronavirus response. And basically what that is a $2 trillion infrastructure bill that I agree we need infrastructure to be updated and so forth. It seems like coronavirus is becoming a catch-all of anything and everything that is on the radar as a reason to spend. And so why this is important is if, in fact, that becomes part of the response. Again, once we put this behind us, that's another 2 trillion on top of the 2.2, we're talking multiple trillions, but not would double pretty much the response we just had less than a week ago to be signed. And what do I see from that? Well, something like that would drastically it would be a huge opportunity for the economy. Definitely. It would push the market up. It would pump a lot more money into the system again. So the markets would be up, a lot of opportunities created. And, there it is. And from the Democrat side of the aisle, they're already talking that on that stimulus, the phase 4, that they already have a bunch of things that they want to add to it as well. So I hope it doesn't turn into a complete free-for-all. However, regardless of how it goes, if that in fact comes to pass, that will create massive opportunity. That's the positive. On the downside, it's going to, again, every dollar that they're printing in response is, widening eventually the wealth divide. In other words, they're printing money, or you could say printing money, they're duplicating money so fast that the bread and butter of our society, people that are working and living paycheck to paycheck, their dollars, that if they have any left over at the end of the week, are getting worth less and less. So that's the downside of it. And that there is definitely a price to be paid in response at this level. I heard an interesting commentary about that really, you think about it, this coronavirus, how long it's been going on in America, I'm talking about. And, the response, no normal people have got any sort of stimulus. Nothing has came from the response as of yet. No one's received a stimulus check or any of that. And maybe another thought on that would have or could have been to simply backstop the mortgages and basically give everybody a timeout instead of running with money. But it didn't happen that way. We are on the government is essentially on, low interest rates, print money to solve problems. And that's the game plan we're on. That's what we need to work with. Again, look for opportunities and be aware of the downside that comes from each, action taken as well. So with that, again, my name is John Duncan, and I'm doing these dailies. This is designed mainly for people that are doing pretty well and want advice and want to basically have, hear a dialogue that's more about opportunity and what to avoid. This is for people that typically are above average when it comes to asset levels and so forth. So this is, for the people that have some savings built up and have assets, wealthy in some cases, and the people that really, as all this is happening, have a lot to lose if they make mistakes with their money. So, this is not really the discussion for somebody that's just starting out in life or really is just getting started when it comes to building savings and so forth. This is really designed for people that are well advanced in that area and want to learn, what is going on. And as we go forward, as this progresses, I'll share opportunities and I'll break down different ideas to help you manage your money in a smarter way. And hopefully from that, you'll grab some golden nuggets. So with that, John Duncan, this is episode number 2. Hope you gather something from it, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.